Have you ever wondered what people in the Middle Ages thought the world looked like? Not just the maps, but the actual fabric of creation. Today we're diving into a world of mythical beasts, celestial wonders, and earthly marvels, all through the eyes of one of the most influential books of the medieval Islamic world, The Wonders of Creation. Imagine a time without documentaries or search engines. How would you learn about the world? For centuries, people turned to a breathtakingly illustrated encyclopedia known as the Ejyene Ibn al-Maklukt, or The Wonders of Creation and the Oddities of Existence. This masterpiece was written in the 13th century by a Persian scholar named Zakaria al-Kashvini. Think of him as the David Attenborough of his day, but with a pen instead of a camera. Al-Kashvini wasn't just listing facts. He was painting a picture of the entire cosmos as he and his contemporaries understood it. His work was a grand tour of everything, from the highest heavens down to the deepest oceans. He structured his book in two main parts, the celestial and the terrestrial. The celestial part explored the planets, the stars, the constellations, and the angels that were believed to inhabit these heavenly spheres. It was a universe brimming with divine order and mystery, but it's the terrestrial part that truly captures the imagination. This is where Al-Kashvini catalogs everything on Earth. He writes about the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. He describes mountains, rivers, and seas. And then he gets to the living things: plants, animals, and humanity. This is where the famous illustrations come alive. The surviving copies of his work, mostly from the late 13th and 14th centuries, are filled with vibrant, sometimes fantastical paintings. You'll find detailed depictions of real animals like elephants and lions, often with a touch of artistic flair. But you'll also find creatures that blur the line between reality and myth. We see the ROC, a giant bird so powerful it could carry an elephant. We see the wak-wak tree, a bizarre plant that grows in a distant land and bears fruit in the shape of human heads that cry out, "Whack!" These weren't just simple fairy tales. They were attempts to understand and categorize the strange and wonderful reports coming from travelers and ancient texts. What makes The Wonders of Creation so important? It wasn't just a bestseller. It was a foundational text for science, geography, and zoology in the Islamic world for hundreds of years. It was copied, translated, and adapted across cultures, from Persia to Turkey to India. Each copy is a unique work of art. The scribes and painters who created these manuscripts weren't just duplicating text. They were interpreting it, adding their own regional styles and artistic visions to Al-Kashvini's world. Looking at these manuscripts is like looking at a snapshot of how different cultures imagine the universe. For example, a copy made in Mamluk, Egypt might have a different artistic style than one made in Timur, Persia. The way an angel is painted or the colors used for a mythical beast can tell us so much about the patrons who commissioned the book and the artists who brought it to life. These manuscripts were luxury items, symbols of wealth and knowledge. Owning a beautifully illustrated copy of The Wonders of Creation was a sign of a sophisticated and educated household. But Al-Kashvini's work wasn't the only window into this worldview. To understand the cosmos, people also looked to the stars for guidance. This is where another important figure comes in: Abu Mashar al-Baqi, a 9th century Persian astrologer. His works were hugely influential in both the Islamic world and in Europe. One of his key texts was the Kitb al-Mawlud, or the Book of Nativities. Nativities here refers to horoscopes specifically, the art of casting a horoscope for the moment a person is born to understand their character and predict their future. Abu Mashar's book was a comprehensive guide to astrology. It explained how the positions of the planets and stars at the time of birth could influence everything from a person's health and wealth to their personality and destiny. It was a complex system that blended astronomy, philosophy, and a belief in cosmic influence. Like the wonders of creation, Abu Mashar's Book of Nativities was often beautifully illustrated. A surviving fragment, now in the Keir collection in London, gives us a glimpse into this world. The illustrations would depict the zodiac signs, the planets personified as different figures, and the various celestial configurations that an astrologer needed to interpret. These manuscripts were practical tools for astrologers, but also objects of beauty that visualize the intricate dance of the heavens. So, we have these two incredible types of books. Al-Qazvini's Wonders of Creation gives us a grand encyclopedic tour of the cosmos, of what's what of everything God created. Abu Mashar's Book of Nativities gives us a more personal astrological map, a guide to how the cosmos affects individual human lives. Together, they show a worldview where everything was interconnected. The movements of the planets weren't separate from the events on Earth. The creatures in distant lands weren't just curiosities, but part of a divine ordered plan. Studying these manuscripts today does more than just show us cool pictures of strange creatures. It allows us to step into the mindset of people from over 700 years ago. It helps us understand how they sought to make sense of a world that was vast, mysterious, and full of wonder. They used science, art, and faith to create a coherent and beautiful picture of their universe. They saw the world not as a random collection of things, but as a book filled with signs and marvels, all pointing to the power of the Creator. These manuscripts are treasures. They are a testament to a golden age of science and art, a time of immense curiosity and intellectual exchange. From the detailed catalog of Al-Qazvini to the astrological charts of Abu Mashar, these works invite us to look at the world with fresh eyes, to find wonder in the familiar, and to appreciate the timeless human quest to understand our place in the cosmos. It's a powerful reminder that for centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars and out at the world and been utterly captivated by its wonders. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time.